Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a day with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the old well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing cush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Welcome in, everyone. My name is Caleb Peng, and we are here with Titan Esports Divinity League. I'm joined by Leslie. How are you doing today?
Good. Super excited to get out and cast this Divinity League. Of course, Street Fighters versus Summit Esports. Going to be a great game today. Summit Esports entering as a slight favorite, but in leagues like Divinity, anything is possible. It's crazy to see what's going to happen.
That's right. Anything is possible. For those that are joining in for the first time or are unfamiliar with Titan Esports or Divinity League, this is going to be a best of 3 fearless format. So any champs that are drafted at any point in time cannot be used for subsequent games. So we'll have at least 20 unique champs on the board. Of course, there are bans as well. And the players here are, I believe, Emerald 4 and below in terms of skill level. So we'll see roughly a lot of players in the solo queue rank skill level around the gold to low emerald side of things. A lot of players tend to be on the platinum side of things. So yeah, a lot of different leagues for Titan Esports, and this is going to be one of them. So it's going to be exciting times.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, something that I give a lot of criticism to for teams, especially at this ELO, is like the power of decision making, right? So I'm excited to see, kind of from both of these teams, are we going to be able to fully commit and be coordinated and make plays together? And when we do, are we going to full commit to them, or are we going to kind of dance around it? And then the thing that I think teams don't get enough credit for is like, are we going to look at a play, realize that it's bad for us, and actually step away and go, you know what, we're going to give it. We're going to look for our next angle. We're going to look for the next thing, instead of trying to force things that don't work or won't work or put you at a very disadvantageous position.
Right.
Which, especially at this ELO, you never know. I mean, I think decision making is going to be the biggest thing as we hop into draft right now.
All right, let's hop down over to the draft side of things. We have Street Fighters with the first ban here. And means that they'll probably get the first pick as well too. It looks like there might be, so sometimes there's some rulings where you don't get the full bans. Usually that's if a player hasn't hit played enough ranked games, stuff like that, and they'll forego some bans. That being said, I believe that's probably the situation on Street Fighter's side of things. Doesn't mean that they lose a match by any means. We've seen plenty of teams still win without even banning anything. So they're going to keep more options open for both teams. We do see the Varus and the Mumu banned right off the bat, though, from Summit Esports.
Yeah, Varus, pretty normal ban, especially if they play it. B1, known for like those super big power picks or great things in the meta, or those neutral 80 carries, right? Those 80 carries that can play with a supportive style, with an engaged style, things like Varus, Jinx, Ashe. So not too surprising to see that, as we're going to see what Street Fighters prioritizes in this meta right now. I mean, there's a lot of priority picks. Zen is one of these big junglers right now. Pantheon seeing a lot of play. Of course, Jinx is up. Scion, blind B1. I'm interested to see where this is going to go. This is definitely not how you would imagine a traditional draft to start off. Scion B1.
Yeah, we did get the ban from Gwen early on, which makes sense, right? Definitely something that chews through that health bar of Scion. But still a lot of other options that can play to Scion. Obviously going to be a big threat just from a split pushing and tank perspective. We get the Udyr pickup and the Senna pickup. Senna is definitely one of the stronger ADCs at this current moment in time, with the more recent kind of buffs to it. Makes it a lot more viable on that ADC role. Udyr, though, could be a jungler, could also be on the top side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we used to see like proxy Udyr top. That used to be a big thing. That Phoenix form, giving it a lot of wave clear early on. Of course, Senna is very good on the current patch, so much so she's being nerfed again on the upcoming patch. J4, pretty traditional answer to this immobile carry, and Senna. And Jinx going to be locked in, another powerful 80 carry pick.
All right. Let's see how the rest of it's going to round out. So it's going to be a Gnar. So it's going to be the Gnar pickup. Likely for that top side against Scion. It's going to be a Udyr jungle. We get two more bans on both sides. We get the Melio ban, which makes sense. Looking to ban out any supports, any mid laner potentials here. Jinx is definitely going to want a little bit of peel there too, just to stay alive long enough to get that passive off. We get the Syndra ban pick off, so trying to reduce some of that range on that mid side of things.
Yeah, you assume that we're going to get, some of these sports, the counter pick the mid lane. We'll probably pick support here on R4. Of course, Jinx and Street Fighter's comp so far looking a little more traditional front to back. So like you said, want to see this Peel, Lulu-esque type champion to kind of support the Jinx here. And then I'm definitely curious about how Summit Esports wants to attack this bot lane. Because if you're not careful, they do, we do see them actually ban the Lulu. And they're going to give their support the counter pick. So that is actually a very interesting choice, picking a pretty neutral mid laner, kind of throwing the gauntlet down with the Diana already banned, saying, all right, what are you going to punish this with? And Talia, not necessarily the most punishing, but definitely will have some prio early on in lane. So we'll get to see how that comes out. But I'm interested to see what Summit Esports has cooked up for this bot lane. Because leaving it for R5, they've got to have some options here. As Thresh, a little bit of a two-way threat here, being locked in for Street Fighters, a little bit of engaged, some definite peel. What do you want to see here in this last pick? I'm curious.
That's a great question. It's going to be
Neeko.
the Nico. All right, so some engage for the most part. Decent frontline as well. So you probably don't know this, Leslie, but I'm a ASOL main. So I play ASOL
Okay.
like the majority of my games. Either ASOL or Galio in mid. So very excited to see that. But Summit's definitely going for the more scaling side of things. However, Jinx does scale pretty strong late game. Of course, Sion just perma adds a ton of health. But I do say that the late game is definitely probably going to favor Summit more. But let's see if they could get to that part or not. Talia, you don't see super often, especially in solo queue, but it could be pretty annoying for the ASOL because when you're trying to go for those stacks as well, you could just get knocked up a bit and push around a decent ton. So, and could definitely match the roaming potential of the ASOL as well. But out of these two drafts, which one do you think are more favorable?
So I think we talked about it earlier. I'm actually a coach in the Gladiator League, and I think something that I always talk to my players about, and anybody who asks, is like ease of execution has got to be one of the big factors to think about, especially in some of these lower ELO leagues. So that being said, I think Street Fighter's comp is definitely a little more straightforward. Front to back, protect the Jinx. You have J4 and Talia for some playmaking abilities or picks. You also have Talia's got some pretty great zone control. I do like you said, I like some of Esports comp. I'm a big fan of Neeko. Count your minions, Street Fighters. Just count your minions. And ASOL, like you said, ASOL Senna, the scaling that they have is absolutely going to dominate as we get into the 25, 30, 35-minute marks of this game. However, the way these team fights kind of play out with the Neeko engage and Gnar and managing that Gnar bar, it's definitely a little harder to execute. So we'll have to see. So for me, I would definitely give the edge to Street Fighters, although I don't think it's like crazy lopsided by any means. I just think Street Fighters are going to have a much easier time executing their game plan than some of these sports will.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they could play front to back much more easily, right? And as long as the Jinx is in the back doing a lot of damage, you're in a pretty good spot. But if that Jinx gets picked off early, those team fights will be pretty awkward for Street Fighters just because they're just going to lack a lot of that damage over time, right?
Agreed.
Especially with that Leandri's nerf too. Some of these tanks are just a little bit harder to take out. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's see how it goes. Both teams 4th versus 5th seed, so pretty even all the way across the board. But for anyone that's just joining in as well too, this is a Divinity League, so players are Emerald 4 and below in terms of skill level, and then it is fearless, so kind of like our pro formats too. Any champs you see here will not be available for subsequent games. It is a best of 3, and yes, this will be on the Rift or Summoner's Rift, so not Wild Rift for anyone that's curious. I did see a comment about that in Twitch chat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head here. Talking about this Jinx being able to be picked off kind of really rips apart Street Fighter's comp. I mean, unless somebody's just super ahead. So, I mean, things to watch really will be these Neeko engages, this Gnar finding these, creative flank angles. And then, like you said, how can this ASOL, because ASOL gets ahead. ASOL can be kind of toxic. I mean, ASOL can put out some real big things. That Stardust stacked up, that big ultimate that it can come down, definitely has some zone control of its own. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But I'm excited to get into this one and kind of see where it takes us.
Yeah, definitely. This bot lane's going to be pretty. I'm going to definitely keep my eyes on it as well too, especially on the side of Summit, because they do have that double range. So can make life a little bit more difficult for that Jinx, but we'll see. Jinx has fantastic wave clear as well there too. So we're gonna see how it goes. For this specific composition too, do you think that Sion's probably just going to split push most of the game, or kind of be on more of the team fighting front?
I would imagine that it's probably going to want to be on the team fighting. However, I feel like Gnar is going to be one of the huge, points to focus on for getting onto that back line and really looking at ways to get onto the Jinx. So I could also see a scenario where the Sion wants to just pin that Gnar in a side lane the whole time and say, hey, you're not going to fight. We're going to let them 4v4 and figure this out, right? They do have Thresh J4. They can still play front to back very easily that way. So I could see those both scenarios, but I think generally it would probably lean towards wanting to team fight a little more.
Yeah, definitely. The game will be starting very soon, so for those waiting, just thank you for bearing with us. We got a couple minutes before this is about to start off. I think looking at these picks too, for the most part, everything's pretty meta. You don't see a ton of Thresh, but could be good in a lot of situations. I haven't seen a lot of Udyr. What is your take on Udyr in this current meta? I really haven't seen a lot of Udyr jump.
It's got to be a comfort pick. There's definitely much better options. I mean, I would insert like Xin, 100% better in this team comp. Pantheon, pretty decent in this team comp. I mean, there's just a lot of Vi, pretty solid in this team comp. You know, Vi tends to be a pretty solid answer into, into the Jinx comps. Poppy actually has some pretty good value into J4, of course, as well as Talia Wall, as well as people forget blocking the Thresh Lantern take. I mean, there's just a lot of value in Poppy there too. So I could see it. They did pick it early, obviously. So I think that's got to save to some comfort. One thing to watch out is the Udyr definitely has a faster clear. And I think, if maybe he can leverage that and the team can play safe in the early levels, then that's definitely an opportunity. But we'll have to see. I mean, something to think about is kind of which lanes are going to have prio, right? So you got to imagine for Street Fighters, they've got to have prio in mid. Absolutely, Acel is definitely going to get pushed in early. Especially until Lost Chapter, then we may be able to kind of rethink that a little bit. But and then on the top side, Summit Esports, Gnar should be able to take the push in that, especially in the early levels, especially before Cyan is able to get some of those armor items on and be able to kind of resist the push there. From Lynxie. And then bot wave is kind of a little bit of a toss-up. Like, yes, theoretically, like you said, the double range that we have on the bot side and the side of Summit Esports.
Senna's not very strong early, though, so...
Correct. And Thresh does have more range than traditional engaged supports, right? As well as the rockets, and we'll have to see how well that Priadam kind of manages that mana cost and using those rockets to get the waves in. And we'll have to see how it goes. I'm actually really excited to see Lynxie play. Lynxie actually... tried out for our organization when we were kind of trying to figure out what teams we were going to get going, and showed a lot of promising things. So I'm kind of excited to get to see them play and see how that plays out.
I see a couple of Lynxie fans in the chat as well.
Good,
too. So definitely, very excited for that one too.
And Nar's always kind of a fun champion to see plays happen and things go on, and we'll have to see if, like I said, I think the vision control that we're going to have to see from Gamer Destroyer and really being able to help Lynxie find those creative flank angles as they get to objectives is going to be pretty key. I also think that if you're Summit Esports, it is really hard for you to walk into objectives if you're not there first. You don't really have, like, Udyr is kind of who you have. You might have Gnar in certain situations, but like Senna's not face checking, Acel's not face checking.
Nope.
Nico realistically is not just gonna face check. I mean, she does have her clone that she can kind of get some vision with, but of course, Street Fighters has a much better option if they need to face check with Scion and J4 and Thresh. So again, we'll have to see how it plays out here as we approach getting into game.
All right. Well, speaking of game, let's head down over. Thank you all for your patience. Let's go. Game number 1 in this best of 3. We got Summit Esports Peakers versus Street Fighters to kick off Divinity League week number 3. And here we have it. Players are in position here as well. One thing I forgot to mention as well too, Aurelion Sol, not the strongest in this current patch. As someone that plays it pretty often too, the nerfs to Archangel and Leandry's really kind of guts a lot of its kits. So very curious to see how this Acel player is going to play it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's definitely one of those, weaker laning phase type champs. But that being said, I mean, I think, as we see a little bit of a hunt for vision here in the beginning.
All right. Actually going with the E-Star on the Aurelion Sol, the Singularity. So a little bit early stacking, but a little bit less harass in a lane, which will definitely be good for Trucles on that Talia, making it a little bit more comfortable for the matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. So like with the junglers here, it is interesting to see that both of them are going to be pathing towards the spot side, probably recognizing that, both Jinx and Senna, kind of these later game hyper carries, trying to give them both an opportunity to get ahead. And then we really got to keep our eye on this Nico and see exactly, what things they're going to cook up, what things they're going to copy, and how they're going to approach playing this lane as it looks like Street Fighter's getting the push early.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Street Fighters, you definitely are putting most of your eggs in this Jinx basket, because if she doesn't get it going early, it's going to be pretty scary late, as we see some of the souls are starting to stack on this Senna, on a Dark Frenzy Senna, as this moment in time.
Yeah, very interesting to see, but Ooh, a little bit of a wild hook going out there, but I know, like we talked about, this prio, right? That this Talia is just going to have prio into the Acel early. I think he did a good job of pulling the wave there, making sure he can still collect all that CS. He is up 2 minions at the start, so definitely not bad. But of course, we do see that HP being traded for that in that case.
Definitely. In this top lane matchup too, we do see the Mega Gnar form is going to come out here to just pushing things a bit. Sion really strong right now in this current patch too. We see a lot of pro players play it as well too, just providing so much frontline for your team and a lot of split pushing capabilities as well too, and just kind of infinitely scales as well. And I think tanks are just really strong in this patch as well with the Leandry's nerf. It's much harder to do it as we see some fancy feet work by Strategy Time to avoid some of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Get some vision. Looks like, Street Fighter's doing a good job trying to spot out this jungler, make sure that they're safe in the spot side. And ironically enough, credit to Roma on this J4, like able to keep up on the clear is
Very low on strategy time here, but Trucles is completely out of mana at this moment in time. Strategy Time's going to have to play this patiently because it's not going to be a great spot to be in. However, wave state's not great for Strategy Time to go for a back here. Does have the TP up, but doesn't want to lose an entire wave, so going to try to farm carefully. Big Rev, though, is starting to lurk over here to help out his mid laner. Oh, and Flash is in here for the engage, but the Seismic Shove is fantastic, pushing Big Rev back. That's not going to sway Big Rev, though. Still going in here. Truco's going kind of a roundabout scenic way. Is going to burn the Flash, though, to get out there to safety. But that's definitely some high resources spent by Trucos there to survive.
Yeah, and great job, by Big Rev kind of coming in, bailing out his mid laner and getting him through that early part of the game where he struggles. And then, of course, that's like we talked about, that accelerated clear speed of the Udyr. Ooh, as the hook lands.
Oh, Hook is going to land, and then we get the Nico root coming through as well. Damage is pretty low on both sides of things. Both teams are going to get quite low. Lewd Avocado goes pretty low in this specific skirmish, but is going to go back into this landing phase. As you can see, the advantage of the double range here is going to come in clutch for Summit Esports.
Yeah, absolutely. And, pointing over towards the jungle here, as we talk about it, that, that accelerated clear that Udyr does tend to have, he was able to get to that first crab. He was able to get that crab, make a play on mid, and get to the next crab, as we do see Tauroma looking here, wrapping around this bot side.
All right, and here the hook lands, and the hook is good onto Dark Frenzy, and First Blood is going to go over to Street Fighters there onto that J4. Fantastic pick off there, and now we got ourselves Game of Destroy on Nico, trying to just hold this wave a bit there, but that pick off on the Senna is going to play favorably for Street Fighters.
Yeah, Big Rev understanding, he can't match that play, seeing J4 on the bot side, going to go ahead and invade these camps. Tauroma may not be aware that this is happening, of course, as he is pathing up towards this top side as well, so definitely something to keep our eyes on. But it is interesting because, Slop is going to have priority here, and he's already kind of cheating down towards this river, so we'll have to see where he goes as Tauroma just kind of concedes that bot side and says, all right, time to farm my red side camps, as they may look to play around this dragon.
Definitely. All right, Slop going for this proxy as well, too. We're going to just cut off this wave here. Just doing the Scion things. As we see, Mega Gnar going to start strolling down here, but the Mega Gnar duration is going to cut down shortly. Trucos is under fire here, and we see the Acel flying in, but is out of mana, so Trucos going to get out to safety there. But this is pretty good for some esports, as we see Slop just barely getting out of there. I don't know how that health bar went so low, but is going to ult out to safety. Still scores 1-0. If I'm Summit Esports, I'm feeling pretty good, especially in that Acel matchup, right? You can see over 10 CS up already in a matchup that you shouldn't be doing so well in early on, but they're going to give a lot of prio to that mid laner. As we see the root coming through here, the hook is going to land. Big Rev is going to be stunned up onto the Chompers. Tauroma goes back in onto Big Rev. Big Rev is in trouble, is going to be healed up by Dark Frenzy for a bit and going to go down to safety. But again, a lot of priority given down to this Jinx bot lane, as to be expected from Street Fighters.
Yeah, and I think we're talking about Senna being so strong in this current patch. I think we see that there. The Piercing Darkness keeping Udyr alive, slowing down the J4, allowing them to not continue with that engage. Definitely a little interesting that Tauroma kind of held the flag and drag. But it does look like Luke Avocado looks like they're trying to take some pressure off here, and this bot lane may be in trouble. Looks like Dark Frenzy and Gamer Destroyer may not be aware, as they are kind of pushed up. We'll see.
Yeah, Tal Roma just setting up a tent in this bot lane, trying to get this Jinx ahead as soon as possible there too. We do see almost 20 CS differential already between the two ADCs. And Street Fighter is going to need as many advantages as they can. Tal Roma is going to go in on Gamer Destroyer on this Nico. Going to get out to safety, and the hook just only lands onto the clone for now as they're going to set up for this first Drake.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I feel like there was a missed opportunity there by Street Fighters as, the seismic shove kind of land, getting a little bit of that damage, able to proc the electrocute. But like you said, looks like we are going to get the Dragon, Grubs, traditional first kind of neutral trade of objectives. Of course, Udyr able to take these Grubs fairly efficiently as the Mountain Drake is claimed by Street Fighter.
Yeah, I like this call from Summit Esports as well to grab these Grubs, avoid the Grubs being on the side of the Scion as well to make the split pushing a little bit less obnoxious. And, I think also denying the Grubs is big for them because they want this game to go as late as possible. So the more they can slow down Street Fighter's pushing potential to end this game in, under 30 minutes, the better for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, you just really want to get this Aurelion Soul to mid game and late game as a Slop doing a good job of defending Tal Roma's jungle. Obviously, Jarvan not a full clear power farming jungler, but still trying to minimize the loss there as he does look to counter invade as well. Seeing Big Rev on the top side against steal this blue buff away as we may have another little skirmish on our hands. Ooh.
All right, Game of Destroy is going to land the root right there. Tal Roma pretty bulky at this point in time and is going to get to safety with the help of Lude Avocado. As you can see, only about like a 600 gold differential between the two teams, so pretty even across the board. A lot more gold onto the side of the Jinx, but a little bit more gold on the side of the Gnar and the Aurelion Soul for our other two solo lanes. So we'll see how this goes as the Chompers are going to land. We get a nice hook onto Big Rep as well. Ooh. As the Dawning Shadow is going to come through. Just going to build up some of those shields, do a little bit of damage, but this Jinx is pretty healthy at this point in time, and they're going to hold off this 2v3 for the time being, but Rep is still here, trying to push some advantages, maybe trying to grab some of these plates, but the health bars are just too healthy on the side of Street Fighters to do too much here.
Yeah, absolutely. Good gank forwarded. I mean, I think Jinx did a good job there of kind of like stacking up, the Pow and like really making sure the attack speed's kind of ready, and credit to Lude Avocado's like positioning was very good. Dodged a couple of key abilities, and they're kind of able to forward it off. Gives Tal Roma an option here to kind of try to get some jungle caps back under his belt without giving up too much tempo on the map.
Yeah, Quiet Adam here is already over 30 CS ahead of Dark Frenzy's Senna right now, which is a huge swing for the side of Street Fighters. As we see, the first completed item is going to be on to the side of Jinx as well. So we're going to make this laning phase a little bit easier. Meanwhile, we do get the Blackfire Torch going to be finished off on strategy time on this Aurelion Soul. So this is going to be scary times though, for sure, as we see these two top laners are going to continue to skirmish back and forth.
Yeah, Linksy doing a pretty good job, up 10 CS, not really losing a ton out on this. Managing his Narbar pretty well as, he is not going to sidestep that. Decimating Smash on a pretty low cooldown, no matter how you slice it, they look again.
Ooh. All right, we get the Astral Flight to get strategy time to safety here. And this is one of the tough parts about Aurelion Soul is it's kind of hard to lock down too, especially if you're split pushing on the side lanes down the road. As we see here, the fight's going to continue on this bot lane. Quiet Adam is going to do a good chunk of damage to Dark Frenzy. And Dark Frenzy already below half health on the bars. As here we go, TG Linksy is going to get slopped, but Linksy is in a little bit of trouble as Chocos is going to clean up. We also had that Scion passive there too, so even if Chocos wasn't there, might have been in slight trouble. But the kill, though, is going to go over to Linksy on the top laner side of things.
Yeah, definitely the best of a bad situation in that case. Of course, the Udyr are able to put Chocos back out as we are going to get a quick replay of how this transpired. Slops. The flash forward stun. All right.
Like that too, right before the Mega Gnar form was going down, and taking two of the tower shots was going to bring those Health bar's pretty low, but Chugos there is, even with a little bit more health on Gnar, would have been a little bit harder of things. And that'll get Chugos a little bit back into this game, too. As you can see, he's still trying to complete his first item to match that Aurelion Soul. But those roams will definitely be favorable. But we do see Strategy Time top in the CS leaderboards at this moment in time on that Aurelion Soul. Not going to be great for Street Fighters as things are going to continue to snowball a bit for this Aurelion Soul. But does go Blackfire Torch first, which does make his Aurelion Soul a little bit more on the squishier end.
Yeah, it's an interesting call. I mean, obviously, Chugos getting the kill there is going to be really good, but you give up, even more CS. You gave up some experience. You're still almost a full level behind at this stage. And Lynxy, already got the solo kill, right? So, the Gnar is already ahead, already looking to push, as we do see him pick up that Farsight trinket here a little bit early, just trying to make sure that he can continue to isolate that top matchup. As of course, Talroma may be looking to get a lane gank going here, as we said, this bot side is where all the action is as we get ready for this Infernal Drake as the second Drake of the game.
Yeah, the map is dark for the side of Summit Esports on that bot lane. I don't know if Big Rev knows that Talroma is here. Might suspect it, though, as this Drake is here. They don't want to give two Drakes over this quickly. I assume this one may be contested. We'll see, though. We're going to need a roam from Strategy Time for sure to help out, as we see Truco's already a little bit ahead of things. Looks like maybe no. They're going to go for the top side jungle on the side of Street Fighters instead. So just going to give up this Infernal Drake, knowing that they're a bit weaker on the bottom side already. So doesn't want to contest there. They just want to drag out this game as much as possible. As Lynxy going for another solo kill, does not get it though. Slop with the shield, keeping him alive. The turret as well to back it up here, as this top lane is going to be a little bit more even. Dawning Shadow does come through, but just not enough to take out this beefy Scion.
Yeah, absolutely. As Lynxy gets a little too aggressive.
Big Rev's looking.
But Big Rev, he might find it. Oh, no!
Bushes.
Found the wrong side.
Did not, and looks like Slop is going to get back to safety, as that's going to even things up for his side of things, as first item is going to come online for Slop as well. Let's see how it went down. The stun coming through, the pin against the wall. This looks really good, but just a little bit extra help for the Scion.
Yeah, he cancels an auto attack under tower too there, which
definitely
could have made the difference. And of course, we see this Senna going towards a static shiv build instead of the traditional lethality start. So of course, that Dawning Shadow not having quite enough kick to take the Scion out there. That ultimate on a pretty long cooldown early, so definitely something to keep our eyes on. As Chugles, that threaded volley electrocute, getting a huge trade. That wave push on Talia just so dominant here, executing it very well.
Well, it looks like they're going to try to secure up the Feats of Strength Monster Slaying task right here on the Rift Herald if they could get it. Big Rev is here, but Strategy Time took a decent amount of damage. The Sky's Descent is ready, though. That is the bigger form of the ultimate for the Aurelion Soul. Let's see if they do it or not. Oh, and here, a huge Pop Blossom is going to get Chocos there, and a big Sky's Descent. Just a little bit of overkill, but just wants to ensure they get that kill. Going to go over to Strategy Time, as Truco is unfortunately just caught in a really tough position at that point in time, and they are going to deny the monster slaying feats for now. Actually, Street Fighters do have the 3 kills on the side of feats of strength, so they essentially deny feats of strength for the time being on the side of Street Fighters. But some Esports still have to grab the first. Oh no, they got the first turret. So yeah, feats of strength actually does now go over to Street Fighters.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very weird for Street Fighters to want to fight that, knowing they were committing their Thresh to the bot side. However, Thresh being able to, them being able to take out that first tower is still going to be very good for them, as we get to see a quick replay. And I think at this point, you just need to be out. But Chugul steps up a little far too forward, still getting caught in that Pop Blossom just at the end. And like you said, the Sky's Descent coming down, doing so much work. And that's one more kill on somebody you don't want to have any extra gold on.
Yeah, the Jinx Rocket, not enough to take out the Aurelion Soul, but also a great body block to avoid the potential Rift Herald steal with that Jinx Rocket. Unlikely, but hey, you gotta throw it out once in a while, and sometimes you might get some good steals. As we see, Lynxy definitely getting the more favorable trade here. I mean, doesn't even have a full completed item yet against onto Sion, but just playing really well there too. But Sion though is picking more and more items here, and it's going to definitely get harder and harder to deal with for this Gnar.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the passive on that W, the extra damage on that third auto attack doing so much into Sion. And as we see them complete Trinity Force there, Longsword and a Dagger are going to have even more pushing power and dueling power in that side lane. And of course, something to keep your eye on, the Rift Herald in Lynxie's inventory. Instead of the jungler taking it, they're going to take that in top. So we'll want to see that as we get to take a look back at what we missed on the bot side. Talroma with a sneaky bush.
Oh, and we see it too. Talroma all over the place here too. Does secure a kill onto Stratty time. Going to slow down that Rolling Soul a bit here as Talroma is 2-0 now. Dawn Shadow is going to come through and Street Fighters are in trouble. Chocos does go down early. Talroma has to flash out there. I don't think has his ultimate because just spent it on the Rolling Soul. Stratty time is going to teleport now. They're on the chase. Loot Avocado and Kwai Adam still have full health bars. These Falling Star, though, is going to stun up Lewd Avocado as the box is going to slow things down a bit. They're turning, though, on Big Rev is going to go down. We got the Jinx passive. Jinx is excited, going to do a decent amount of damage, but it's going to just end up being a 1-for-1 trade there, too. I thought things were looking pretty bad for Street Fighters, but they were able to turn that around.
Yeah, I think they played that fight very well there at the end, especially. As we see some more fighting in the top side. Grass Rocks back and forth on Lynxie here as... Man, just that cooldown. Of course, with the Gnar bar, definitely got to be a little careful. We are going to get a replay of this last fight here. Trugel's a little caught out, of course, being locked down by the last embrace. Yeah, he's going to be picked off here. Dawning Shadow starting to do a little bit of damage here. Huge shield on Big Rev. The Pop Blossom. Talroma, it's a pretty good flash there though to get him out. And I think, you know, they did a pretty good job. Of course, seeing this TP, trying to retreat. Man. Quite Adam, they played this so well, understanding when they can go in, getting that reset on Big Rev, and then credit to Summit Esports. I think they did a good job of recognizing, okay, we need to back off. This person, so we are back in a fight.
Yeah, back in a fight again. Big Rev is pretty low on health bars right now. Gotta watch out for a potential rocket from Jinx as that is on. It is available now too. I think Talroma's, like you said too, has been playing really well this game, just spacing really well too, helping the team however they can, and you know, trying to just slow down the scaling onto the side of Summit Esports as the goal differential is pretty much even, only about 300 difference onto the side of Summit Esports. They do have a few more kills though, and they are now on soul points, so one more Drake, and that is going to be Cloud Soul for the side of Street Fighters. And that extra movement speed definitely, I know it's a little bit on the underrated side of things, but I believe Cloud Soul has one of the highest, if not the highest win rates in games.
It does have the highest win rate. And yeah, movement speed. Chocos, a little bit of trouble. Stratty time still looking.
Yeah, Astral Flight's going to come up soon, but the sideman shove is perfect. Dawning Shadow, though, is going to kill Chocos. Running away from an ASO, but got a Senna ultimate in the face on the other side of things. So great stuff from Dark Frenzy. Dark Frenzy has been throwing some really good Dawning Shadows all game long, I think. Hasn't really missed any, too. Some of them just maybe not enough damage to actually go for the kill, but down the road, that might not be the case. As going for a 1v1 skirmish here, but Gamer Destroys is going to flash in there for the root. Pop Blossom comes up, and Talroma is going to be stunned up, but Talroma is too beefy right now to be taken down. It's going to eat all that damage and peel for their ADC.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Street Fighter decides to do anything here, as this mid tower looking pretty vulnerable to this push. As Slop might be in a little bit of a trouble here. The Gnar coming down to look for a potential pinch as he's a little out of position with Jinx having to reset here.
Yeah, really great vision from Summit Esports too. You see vision in every one of these bushes so far. They know exactly what Slop is up to. Decimating Smash not going to catch anyone off guard as Lewd Avocado is pretty low at this point too. Have found a fantastic route though onto the Nico. Gamer Destroyer is going to go down. The tower health bar is quite low, but still hanging on there as Chocos is going to over there, going face checking Rev and Lynxie in melee range. I don't know about that one, Chocos. As Chocos is still going to get the kill onto Lynxie. Does finally go down. We get a double kill over to Stratty time, and Stratty time is going to drop a falling star on to their Scion, but not going to be in a good spot now. Is going to go for the run. The Blast Cone going to get Stratty time to safety for now. Talroma, though, is looking and does get Stratty time. Kill goes over to Slop things start to fall apart a bit for Summit Esports towards the end of that fight.
And this is what we were talking about, that Jinx able to stay on the back line, free hit, stay safe. And, credit to Talroma. Very great performance on this J4 so far. He was able to buffer that last embrace super well. Because we are going to get a replay of how all this started with the last avocado hook here.
Yeah, fantastic hook could start things off there too. Losing a lot of that engage and CC potential. Choco's diving in deep there. No fear in his heart. Going straight for Big Rev. And Lynxy, obviously not ideal to go into melee range, but once you get rid of that front line onto the side of Summit Esports, things get a lot easier. You see Dark Frenzy and Strategy Time trying to run for their lives now because, yeah, they do a lot of damage, but they don't really want to be face-to-face with a J4 and a Scion.
Yeah, definitely some criticism. That falling star is a little interesting. It felt kind of greedy trying to hit the Jinx there with no other setup or anything, and of course, just hitting the Scion, not really doing anything. Jinx able to sidestep, but yeah, this is Soul Point. Drag up in 130. We have a little bit of a gold. Actually, honestly, gold is still even. I mean, when you look at the CS differentials, a big one being in the mid lane there, equals down about 50 CS, and then of course 40 CS positive in the jungle, really kind of keeping them in it. So credit to them, but as we see these fights play out, we're going to have to see Summit Esports find some better angles with this Nico and not get picked out if they want to be able to win a fight for this upcoming Soul.
Yeah, we see Sloppy and Lynxy go at it a bit. Decimate Smash is going to get Lynxy to pull back a bit. Talroma playing fantastic this game, honestly. I think just facilitating really well for his team, not dying once either. Been caught in some tough positions, but his pretty tanky too. And I think, and this is no slight against Big Rev. I think the job is a little bit easier for Talroma, right? Because Big Rev kind of has to frontline a lot of these fights, right? He's going to be the one that dies a lot for the team here. Because you got Gnar, but especially when it's not Mega Gnar, it's a little bit tougher. And then you have a Nico support too, which is not nearly as frontline tanky as a Thresh. So Talroma has a little bit more frontline to juggle this damage back and forth onto. As you can see, positioning is going to be fought for in this Riverside for this. Drake could be sold for Street Fighter, so some esports definitely want to contest this one. I don't know. I guess if they're not feeling confident, they might just give it up, but I don't know about that play either.
Yeah, seems like a rough call, but it is tough. Lynxy, that Gnar bar is fully formed as the Dragon has already started, and the Seismic Shove able to get him out. The last embrace going just wide.
Oh, and a hook goes onto Big Rev. Dawning Shadow is going to give a slight shield over, but the Mega Rocket brings Big Rev quite low, and the Jinx passive is up now. A huge Pop Blossom, though, from Gamer Destroyer lands onto 4 members, and the skies descend as well. Health bars are so low at this point in time, but no one is dead on the side of Street Fighters. You got Jinx going crazy in the backline. Lynxy trying to do something here, but this is not a Mega Gnar, and is going to go all the way in favor of Street Fighters. They get a complete ace there.
Yeah, great. And of course, that is going to look like the Baron on the menu. I got to give a lot of credit to Quiet Adam right now. So many people think that building this IE second is the way to go, and I have disagreed for this and vocalized it for such a long time. And Quiet Adam must agree. He built the Runeance Hurricane, giving him that little bit of a better second item power spike earlier. And we see that attack speed just absolutely going wild here. That Pop Blossom almost so successful. The insta cleanse just on the range here of that Sky's Descent, just barely still getting that airborne as Gamer just are not able to finish them off. And then at that point, there's really nobody left to get onto this Jinx. And that's kind of the tail of the fight, right? Jinx able to free hit, Jinx able to kind of get the slow that guarantees the decimating smash here, and Lynxy goes down. And that is now Baron, Soul, and a decent gold lead here, about 6K for Street Fighters to go ahead and look to end this game.
Yeah, I mean, at least they don't have grubs. That's probably the best silver lining if you're Summit Esports.
You're right.
But yeah, but things are not looking good for them. They do scale though, but the gold differential is starting to widen for the side of Street Fighters. And I mean, a beautiful, beautiful Pop Blossom. 4 players getting into that CC, but the thing is, I think Strike Time was already thinking about maybe backing off, and it's like, oh, wait, hold on. This might be a good fight. And then Dark Frenzy just wasn't at the fight at that point in time. Was a little bit too far behind to do any damage. So that might have been the difference maker there, because the health bars are so low on all the members of Street Fighter, especially after that Sky's Descent from the Relic Soul, but just not enough to finish it off. I think you still have to be kind of careful if you're Street Fighters, because things can still go, you know, poorly for you if you take a bad fight here. But they're going to siege up here, take out these turrets both in mid and bot lane, as they're going to push their advantages as much as they can with this Baron buff still up.
Absolutely. I think Street Fighters has to be very careful about fighting in some of these like tighter corridors or jungle entrances, or maybe right inside these tower entrances, as of course we do have Pop Blossom into the Falling Scar / Sky's Descend and the Gnar ultimate. You know, there's a scenario in which they can line these things up in the correct order and get multiple members where they could definitely try to fight back here and win a team fight.
Yeah, I think Trugos, if Trugos lands a really good seismic shove here, it could start a really good fight here. As you see, Linksy actually just takes out, or actually no, Slop actually just completely takes out that bottom inhibitor turret. So getting a lot of value here. Slop's health bar is kind of low, but I believe has TP up, so can't go back and just TP back in for this fight if he wants to, or just going to continue split pushing this bot side here, just being a nuisance. Linksy just has to keep an eye on Slop at this moment in time, but middle inhibitor turret is super low at this point in time too. As you can see, Street Fighter's waiting for one more wave here, but Juko's actually going to split push on this top side tier 2 turret instead. Let's see how much more they can get out of this Baron buff. It is going to be you know, going down soon at this point in time too. They really want to get this middle inhibitor turret, and there it goes. It does go down. Going to open up the map a lot for Street Fighters.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like they're going to go for this top T2 as well. And I think if you're Street Fighters, ooh, Taurama's looking. Oh. I think he thinks the better of it. Seeing that the wave is already almost gone. Ooh, the seismic shove lands, but a little late there. Oh, man.
Falling Star is going to be dropped. Yeah, the flash is going to be now down for Truckles, which definitely a decent trade too. I mean, it was just a Falling Star, not the Sky's Descent, so not the bigger version. As we see the flash in from Big Rev, maybe doesn't know Tao Romo is there. Seismic shove though is going to pull Big Rev. The Cataclysm keeps him in. Big Rev goes down. That's a lot of front line. And here we see Tao Roma going back in the hook as well. Kwai Adam is going to pick up the kill. Things are not looking good now for Summit Esports. Baron buff might be over at this point in time, but they get so much value there as we see the gold just start to really heavily favor Summit Esports. Let's take a look at this replay.
Yeah, that was a big whiff by Big Rev. I mean, just I'm not tracking where Tao Roma was on the map. Kind of, you know, blood in the water, seeing that that low health bar on the Talia and trying to make something happen. And I appreciate the thought of like, I have to make a play, I have to try to get something done, but unfortunately not the right time and not the right play.
Yeah, you can see Strat Time greeting for a few more stacks. Hey, brother, I've been there myself, but sometimes you just gotta fly out there, especially once your front line is down. As we see, Strat Time is going to complete up the Rabadons as well. This is a lot of damage on this ASO, just going almost full damage at this point in time too. I think a Zanya's would be a good second item as well, or like a next item, I should say, fourth item at this point. Just to kind of keep him alive in certain situations if he's caught in a bad spot. As speaking of bad spots, Linksy is caught in a very bad spot. Going to shove back the Tao Roma and Slop for now, as Big Rev is going to get chunked yet again too. I mean, it's so tough for Big Rev because he has a front line for the team, but it's just going to be, you know, just drawing the short end of the stick here. As we see, Elder is going to be spawning up in 10 seconds. If they get Elder on Street Fighters, it definitely could be game over at this point in time too. We see Summit Esports is going to try to group up for it as they have vision here. I think they saw Tao Roma as well at this point, so they know they're not on it just quite yet. So, we get the seismic shove as well. Linksy is going to get blown apart. Kwai Adams, the passive is going up. Slop has taken out Big Rev as well. There goes the front line, and the back line is going to be falling shortly after. As we see, they are now going to go back in for the Elder. They're not confident they can end this just quite yet. I mean, there's really good wave clear on that Ireland and that Senna to a degree as well. So just want to put the nail in the coffin here as Kwai just going to just chew up this Elder.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we talked about, right? Like, it's so difficult for Summit Esports to walk in division, and unfortunately just like a poor TP from Linksy kind of turns that fight completely. And you know, with them being ahead and having control of that river, Summit Esports has no real way into those fights. And that makes it really difficult. And I think that's a product of what we saw. And of course, Talroma just having a great performance on this this J4 so far. We do see a 6-0-8 Jinx. Of course, don't want to put anything down on Kwai Adam, but Talroma has definitely been able to unlock his team for this. As like you said, they've got Elder, Baron is up, and we got to imagine they will be looking to secure this Baron and end the game.
Yeah, and just honestly a great team effort from all the way across the board. Fantastic hooks from Lewd Adam. Obviously great front lining and splitting from Slop. But I gotta say, Choco's some pretty bold engages, but at the same time, too, buying a lot of space for his Jinx, right? And just, just diving the front line, going for the back line, just so that Kwai Adam could just be in the back and just constantly just shoot at their targets and make things a little bit easier here. As we see a fantastic side shove, Lynxie just gets completely eviscerated before the Mega Narc's even up. Big rep to follow, and this is where things start falling apart, unfortunately, for the side of Summit.
Yeah, just a bad team. Like we were talking about, those flank TPs are going to be so crucial, and they've haven't really been able to find one to get the Gnar involved in any way. Actually, the exact opposite in this scenario is it looks like Summit Esports looks to, or excuse me, Street Fighters look to triple inhib and get these minions in here to go ahead and end the game.
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much got everything, right? They got Exodia, they got Baron, they got Elder, they got Soul as well, too. Not a single Drake to the name of Summit Esports. They're going to have to wave clear for their lives here to have a chance. But these turrets are going down so fast as Big Ref is again getting chunked away from Slop. Just trying to buy some space, trying to get there. But no, the Elder is going to finish him off. Slop going to pick up that kill. You see the Singularity and the ASO wave clear trying to do what he can, but unfortunately not enough. Dawning Shadow is not going to take out anyone at this point in time. Double kill going over to Kwai Adam. They're going to dive the Fountain. They're going to take game number 1, going over to Street Fighters.
Yeah, absolutely great set of plays there. Very dominant on the objective side as Street Fighters go ahead and take down game 1. And I like to do this with all the castings, that we do is looking at kind of the one player in this game that made the biggest impact for you. So who would you give it to for this Street Fighter?
Oh, it's a tough one, but I gotta say Talroma was all over the place there too, just facilitating early, mid, and late as well. Obviously, Kwai Adam did fantastic, just putting out so much damage, but without the facilitation of the rest of the team, I think that yeah, I gotta give it to Talroma. Fantastic jungling. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I tend to agree, especially, and it's tough on some junglers like J4. You're playing this ganking jungler, and maybe you go to make a play bot and it doesn't work out and you don't get anything. All while Big Rev is on the top side, 20 CS above, taking all your camps, right?
Yep.
And still finding ways to continue to farm where you can and still being able to make plays, keeping strong mental. And I think that's exactly what we saw. And then Talroma just able to absolutely execute great mechanics and keeping those engages very clean and kind of, like you said, setting up for these great picks, these resets on Jinx. That river fight, we got that reset on Jinx. They kind of saved that play from going very bad for them in that moment. And I'm with you. I think great performance from the whole team, but Talroma kind of leading the way. And I'm excited to see, as we are in Fearless, of course, what the next picks that they're going to pick out are going to be.
Yeah, definitely. Great work from Talroma, aka D1 Busy. I don't know if we have a chance to take a look at the damage charts on that one, but if we have that available, I'd love to see that as well. But fantastic performance from all the way across from Street Fighters. And yeah, that's going to do it for game number 1. This is a best of 3, so stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break before we get into game number 2. All right, we are back here with the Divinity League. It is already on to game number 2 between Summit Esports and Street Fighter. Street Fighter's taking that first game. I'm Caleb playing. I'm joined by Leslie. And what were your thoughts about that first game?
Easy to execute. That's my thoughts about game number 1. I think Street Fighters took a fairly straightforward comp. They didn't do anything crazy crazy complicated in the beginning. They just kind of like focused on getting Jinx ahead the best they could. Chukels, I think, is the mid lane matchup is actually, for me, I would like to see something, for strategy time with maybe a little more agency, because I think Chukels was kind of the weak point of Street Fighters in that game number 1. They did take it down, but I could see strategy time getting on something with a little more playmaking ability, a little more agency, and then possibly being able to kind of pressure that weak point and get around it. Of course, we do see a new set of bans. No more ban penalties as we get into game number 2. Of course, this is Fearless. You see all the champions down at the bottom are champions that have already been picked and cannot be picked again, as we are now going to find out what Summit Esports thinks is the biggest thing. And we're going to get another blind top laner in Urgot B1. This is something.
So we have blue side now for Summit, and I believe they banned Urgot last time around, so they really didn't want Street Fighters to get it. But we are going to get the counter pick of Fior right there into Urgot. Going to be pretty solid. Oh, and we got Felios going to be picked up for Adam on the side of Street Fighters.
I wonder if that was planned, because that Fior was locked in pretty quick. They almost looks like they had that ready. So we'll definitely have to see how that top side plays out between Lynxie and Slop. Of course, Tristana going to be the answer into the Ophelia. It's going to look to try to punish early, have that bot prio. Look to stack dragons maybe so they don't have to deal with another soul. The Maokai got to be locked in. Could be a flex, although we have seen it go support a lot more often than jungle lately. As we'll see if we can get a traditional Poppy going to be the pickup here for the side of Street Fighter. I think they were listening to our cast, listening to the things we were talking about.
They like what you had to say from that first draft. A lot of flex picks, actually. We get the Syndra ban yet again too. Maybe just expecting that. This time around it's actually banned from Street Fighters. I think it was actually Summit that banned it last time around to make the matchup a little bit better for Asol. But we got a lot of flex picks there too. I mean, small chance that Tristana could be mid as well, right? Maokai could be jungle or support, and the Poppy could be jungle or support as well too. I mean, maybe top if they want to just go crazy with a Fiora mid, but that sounds kind of crazy. Likely going to be the support pick, I think. But a lot of potential here for jungle as well too, if both players have that Poppy up their repertoire. Ooh, we get the Elise. And Elise can also be support or jungle. So I like the mind games that Street Fighters are playing here, because it's hard to know where to place your champs, right? And even go for any type of counter picks if you're the side of Summit, because you're not even sure where these champs are going.
Tarek, are we going to see Maokai jungle? I am like the biggest Maokai jungle enjoyer of all time. And
I have seen a few Tarek jungles in my time, and it's surprisingly not as bad as you would think, but I think it's going to be
mana dependent.
Tarek. Yeah. Is this going to be a Mel, which, I mean, it could be a Mel bot too, like it's probably a Mel mid. It could be, and this is going to be a Corki mid for sure.
Yeah. So you gotta imagine we're gonna see. How you said it could be Tarek jungle, but I feel like we're gonna see this Tarek.
I think it's unlikely.
Especially with Poppy, right? Like you want somebody like, you're gonna charge in on me, cool. I'm gonna stun you right back. As we see where these lane assignments go, and of course Corki looking to punish Mel early. Obviously the auto attack champion in mid doing a lot of work there. But yeah, this is a very interesting draft. And like you said, this could still be a Elise support. We could see Poppy jungle here, and this is a wild draft coming in.
Yeah, and we can see kind of switching the script a little bit too. This time around, Summit Esports is going to be the team with a lot of frontline. Maokai, Urgot, and Tariq, and Tariq's ultimate. Like, you got a lot of things keeping your back line, alive for quite a while, just tanking this, right? I think Big Rev's like, dude, I can't do this by myself anymore. I need some help, and he's going to get some help this game for sure. The frontline doesn't look nearly as tanky for the side of Street Fighters, but be curious to see how this goes too. I mean, looking at these two teams, which one are you favoring more?
I think it's Summit Esports, and it's not close. I think the Street Fighters draft is a little all over the place. I mean, you pick this like super scaling team fighting 80 carry, and then picks nothing to support it. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
like it looks like you want to play through the side lanes with Fiora and like Poppy and Elise to help you catch out opponents and stuff, which is cool. Right. But then why did we pick? I mean, Ash is open, right? I didn't miss, or Jin is open. Like, there are just other options. So like this Aphelios to be picked and then kind of pivot completely away from it is a little wild to me. So we'll have to see what they do to execute, and of course we'll still have to see where these final lane assignments are going to be. But yeah, I was gonna say that this top lane is gonna be the matchup to watch. How can Lynxy, can he try to punish early levels when Urgot is strong? Can Slop navigate long enough until Fiora kind of just takes over the matchup? But now looking at it, I mean, I think Corki mid will be to watch, and then this bot side is going to be absolutely something to watch. I mean, if you're Tristan Atarik, you just want to start going in on these guys on level 2, go. Level 3, go. Level 4, go. I mean, you just want to be punishing this Aphelios, especially with nothing really great to keep him safe besides maybe the steadfast presence on Poppy. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, and I think actually, Street Fighters had counter pick there. They had the last pick Corki. I don't know if this is in Truckles' toolkit, but I think a Galio would have been really good here, right? Great into solid into Mel, but gives you a lot of CC and frontline as well, and peel for the Aphelios, but great engage as well. They don't really have a lot of engage with this comp. I don't really know how I mean, you could have Poppy storming in there, but a support Poppy's. Oh, wait. Yeah, a support Poppy's not going to go that crazy here, too. I got confused with the names, but I doubt that Adam is playing Poppy ADC.
Right.
But to shuffle a bit, but
I agree. I'm struggling to find the Street Fighters game plan here. The draft identity that they have is it's just, like you said, a little low. To me, this looks like a very solo queue-esque type scheme comp, but the only way you're winning is if individual lanes just have these crazy leads, and you're just slapping it with your wallets. I think if you're on even footing and you can approach objectives, I think this is Summit Esports game, hands down, not close. I think this is going to be a stomp. I think Summit Esports is going to stomp them down this game.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, there's a chance that Street Fighters executes just a little bit better or a lot better and pulls out the win. But I agree with you. I think the comp advantage is heavily on the side of Summit. I think if you're Street Fighters and you're playing solo queue, some people might consider just dodging this game. But we'll see how it goes, though. I'm very curious to see how that's going to play out here. We're going to start up in just a minute here, but for those that are curious about game 1 and how that broke down, we do have the damage charts. I'm not sure if production is able to pull that up on the screen, but I could just go over it really quickly if that is not possible. We had Quiet Adam leading the charts there in damage, almost full build as well on their Jinx with 27k damage. And then just actually not a ton of damage on the side of Summit, actually, surprisingly. Pretty much even across the board, about 11k to 12k for Big Rev all the way through the support Nico. Lynxy leading the charge with 20k. A lot of that was damage farmed probably against the Scion, the head-to-head. But it was, mostly that damage was coming from Adam, and then 21k from Truckles as well. So really well done from the two of them to kind of carry the damage. And of course, the 14 KDA Tau Roma J4 is not one to be slept on as well in that specific matchup. But we'll see if things can look better for Summit this time around. The comp does look pretty good, so we'll see if they can close it out here in game number 2 and force a game number 3.
Yeah, I am just kind of a little shell-shocked still. I mean, I thought Street Fighters had such an excellent comp game 1, and they executed it so well, and now we have this. So
Yep.
I don't know. Elise, definitely something you don't traditionally see a lot in lower elos, below Diamond Masters. So definitely have to see how well, Telroma executes on that champ. There's definitely a lot of power coming in on it, so we'll have to see. Of course, Maokai having a lot of utility, a lot of engage, but definitely a much slower clear than he used to. Maokai, pretty dominant jungle about a year and a half ago. Took a couple of nerfs, kind of pulled him out and back into the support role where they wanted him. But yeah, I'm just so worried about this Aphelios. I mean, you do have a good damage spread. You have a lot of champs that can do damage on the side of Street Fighters. I think that's their silver lining. But I just feel like Aphelios, like I feel like the best thing Aphelios can do is like long range gravitum picks. Like that to me feels like the best thing they can. Which pick Ashe, pick Jhin. Like they're just better champs to do that with. Honestly, I think you pick like Ashe or Jhin, in the place of this Aphelios, and this comp looks a whole lot better.
Yeah, definitely.
Just more ways to pick out and get these side lanes and kind of try to make it a 4v5 before you start the fight, and just. But yeah, like you said, we'll have to see how it goes as we get ready to get into game number 2 here in just a minute.
It could definitely be
crazy.
more on the comfort pick side of things too for Adam's Aphelios. Definitely one of those hyper carries where in the right situation you could really turn the tides of the game. But you got a lot of things jumping on you, right? You have a Tristana jumping on you with a Taric ultimate behind it. Like it doesn't even matter if you have Red Gun. You just can't lifesteal fast enough to save yourself at that point in time. And then let's not forget you got a Maokai to root you down as well as a Mel, and then Urgot's just doing Urgot things. So we'll see how that goes. But let's get into game number 2. I believe our players are ready, and we do have a 1-game advantage for Street Fighters. Summit Esports, they're going to need to win this game to tie it up to force a game number 3. And let's see if they can do it. Oh, maybe the game is not ready yet.
Just kidding.
Okay,
We're still
just
here.
kidding. But we'll see how that goes. Do you know the on hand? Do you know the Urgot versus Fiora match? Oh, here we go. I was gonna say, how does that favor in terms of that top lane matchup? Because we did see the insta pick from Fiora right after the Urgot was picked up.
Yeah, so this is a case of like, we'll see if as we have a big 5-man invade coming out, maybe trying to catch out somebody.
Gosh.
Ooh.
Oh, and the flash forward and the stun. All right, we get the Poppy to buy little space, but the double root there. First blood going over to Stratty time. That's one way to kick off the game, especially if you have a team comp advantage. Stratty time's going to really enjoy that extra gold as he's going to start off the lane phase pretty ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that is 4 flashes and an ignite from the side of Summit Esports, really trying to kick this game off and send a message. And the only summoner spell burn, Poppy Flash, and then the barrier gonna be burned from Quiatum. So we'll see how they handle this laning phase. They still have their splash. I think that's important to think. There's so many flashes here as they try to make that steadfast presence. Also something to point out, as that's how they're gonna start lane. So they're gonna have a lot less lane pressure because of that too. Yeah, we'll have to see. But going back to this top side, this is definitely like a good matchup that expresses how champions like change over the course of levels and items, right? So like Urgot definitely has a little bit of favor with the range advantage here at level 1, pushing the wave, although it doesn't seem to be using that at this time. And then of course, as you look towards, it's still a pretty positive trade here for Lynxy. As you look forward though, once Fiora starts to get a couple of levels, the ability to kind of block and riposte that E stun, which is pretty telegraphed, starts to lead towards Fiora. And then of course Fiora, kind of the anti-tank as we get another jump in.
And we get the stun. Yeah, stun is going to land on Loot Avocado. The level 2 advantage is going to go over to the side of Summit as well. So they're going to have to play a little bit safer, especially with that steadfast presence on Loot Avocado. Could only do a little bit of peeling there. But things are already looking pretty favorable for Summit to kick things off.
Yeah, 500 gold lead at sub 3 minutes is pretty good. But yeah, like this is one of those matchups where like eventually Fiora just gets to a point where she can like never be killed by Urgot. She just kind of deletes him. But there's definitely some agency from Urgot early in the matchup. And through like an item and a half, there's some counterplay and some agency to get things done. But as we get into the mid and late game, Fiora will definitely take over that matchup. So we did see them actually skip their traditional starter item and go for the longsword refill so they can rush Tiamat and have some actual wave control into a matchup where they normally wouldn't have it. So we'll have to see how that works out as this bot lane, they're kind of Dark Frenzy and Game Destroyer, I think, did a good job of, Chukul's a little trouble. This is kind of what we talked about, right? Strategy time, like having something with a little more agency. Can he kind of like showcase the 1v1, the laning expertise that he was able to showcase in game 1, but on a champ that actually, allows him to maybe punish those missteps that Chukels makes. So we'll have to see how that, continues to play out.
You see the skirmishes continue as well too. I mean, this Fiora has a lot of carry potential, especially in the late game. But we see a gank coming through as well. Fiora gonna be tossed back a big. Big Rev is coming in on the big Maokai. Can we get a stun up on Slop? Slop's gonna run out of there and get to safety. So we see Elise actually hovering on to the top side of Big Rev's jungle as well. Maybe trying to grab some of that farm. But overall, it's still a generally quiet game. Oh, we see the cold start actually on both top laners here too. So both going for that more economy build.
Yeah, very interesting. Of course, we do see that, Urgot kind of having some more control in the early laning phase. But yeah, it's very interesting to see here. It does look like Big Rev may have the opportunity to double crab once again. We'll see if D1 busy is D1 busy. Is Talroma just a different? Is that a sub? Is that a sub from game 1?
I'm not. Oh wait, that is interesting. Yeah, I just realized that too. I'm not sure if they subbed Talroma out or not. It's a possibility. I know they had at least like 1 or 2 emergency subs this series. It's possible maybe Talroma could only play 1 game. I'm not sure. But yeah, D1 Busy is now on the list there. I know on the graphics said D1 Busy earlier, so maybe we could get some confirmation from production before we get to it. As we see a gank here coming over, D1 Busy is going to come over and gets a great stun up on strike time. And Gil goes over to Chocles, which is fantastic for Chocles.
Yeah, I think that's great. Helps catch him up in CS, gets him evened up in gold there. And kind of stops and stems the bleeding that was starting to happen from that 1v1. So great look by D1 Busy, and we'll have to continue to see how it plays out. Small CS lead in the top side. This bot side going fairly even despite how the game started. So we'll have to see both flashes, all summoner skills available on the bot side now. We'll have to see if anybody decides to make any plays as our first dragon of the night. Looks like Hextech Dragon is now up and ready. Take a look at the gold chart here.
Yeah, so gold differential pretty much exactly even at this point in time too. As we did see the kills did get evened up with that kill over on the Mel in the mid lane, going over Chocol. It's actually completely even because it was actually Strategy Time that got the first blood too. So gold going right back over to the pockets of Chocols there is going to even things up.
Ooh, definitely something to keep an eye on. I think Fiora is one of those great champs, but there's definitely some mechanics to it. We'll see if Slop's been practicing his Insta-4 proc or not. As well as he missed the riposte timing on the disdain earlier. As I guess not. I guess Lynxie's just gonna go ahead and get that solo kill. Hopefully, we'll get a replay here to see that. And of course, D1 Busy just not really able to do much. We'll have to see if he can make something happen in this mid lane too.
Yeah, we get a route onto Chocos. Chocos is going to be able to get out to safety. Probably has a Valkyrie still up as well, too, in case need to further extend that. Yeah, I'm very curious to see that replay on that top side because Lynxie just came out of it full health, pretty much. So how does it even happen? Oh, and then the Fear Beyond Death as well to just lock it down. Just so much burst damage just coming out from Lynxie on that Urgot. Something you don't hear very often, honestly, Urgot as a burster. But here we go. Adam actually picking up a kill onto Gamer Destroyer. The Taric goes down. And, I mean, again, this game is super even on both fronts. But that kill going over to Adam is definitely going to be playing favorably for that ADC matchup. You want that fellas to be as fed as possible.
Absolutely. We're going to get a replay on this bottom side. It just looks like they're caught in a wave. A little bit on cooldown here, but a flash forward. There we go.
Great timing too. Yeah, avoiding the stun, waiting for the stun to be used up before going for a flash roar. Could have been really awkward flashing into a stun from Gamer Destroyer. So great patience from Quiet Adam there. And as you see, the first Drake is going to go over to the side of Street Fighters. D1 Busy is going to be the one to secure that up for the team. Grubs are spawning on this top side though, and I would assume Summit's going to try to contest this one as we see the Maokai heading up towards there right now.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Slop can kind of like throughout the course of this game kind of get a feel for that timing on riposte. As that is definitely how you punish the Surgot. If you're unable to riposte the Disdain, then it makes this matchup pretty difficult to play. As we did see that solo go first. And of course, Summit Esports looking to and already taking one grub, but Street Fighter is not willing to give it up so freely as they do have the numbers advantage so far. And we'll see as Big Rev able to get another one smited away. And that is 2 Void Grubs and the Void Mites going over to Summit Esports.
Not too bad for Street Fighters. They still deny the progress towards the feats of strength on the monster slaying side of things.
Yeah.
But that being said, great smite though from Summit to grab that second grub, and back to farming to go.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll have to see. Like you said, I mean, this game, you know, in all league games, of course, come down to execution, and Street Fighter's been executing okay. As Slot might be in trouble again.
Big Rev coming up here as well. Big Rev does have the ultimate, can root it down. Flashes forward, is going to be able to parry some of that, but the ult comes through, and the Fear Beyond Death gets another kill over to Linksy. You hate to see it if you're a Street Fighters fan, because still is one of those moments where the top difference is way too big in a game, and it gets to the point where it just gets really impossible to even step into lane. As you see, the boots are going to be completed onto the side of Slop. Very bold backing from Adam, actually, to just get out there in time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this top side is definitely something that's troubling as D1 Busy unable to catch Linksy before he completes that recall. Yeah, we'll have to see. Obviously, like the Urgot off to a huge start here is going to be absolutely great, kind of denying that Fiora split push for absolutely as long as possible. You know, and Chukul's really just, he's down some CS, but otherwise not faring too badly. We do see the Swifty boots rush, really trying to make sure that he can play safe and work around these fights. And really what I want to see is, can D1 Busy get busy? Can he get involved on the map? As we've seen Big Rev do. Big Rev's already ganked a couple of different times. You know, Busy has that gank early on the Mel, and other than that, he's just kind of been farming and not really been effective anywhere else. So I want to see how he can get involved and kind of get the tempo changed up and moving for his team.
Yeah, outside that one successful gank onto Stratty Time earlier in that mid lane, just wasn't able to get as much value there. Slop getting chunked away, level disadvantage and item disadvantage for sure, right? You got the Tiamat, but that's about it. No Ravenous Hydra completed yet. As you see, Linksy going to start chunking away at this turret as well, too. I mean, if you get this turret, that's going to be feats of strength going over the side of Summit. You know, they're definitely going to want some of that too. Taking a decent amount of turret shots, and Slop definitely able to hold his own under the turret for now. As you see,
big damage.
Up, and yeah, this damage is looking a little bit scary on the Zephelius. As we can see, this red buff is taking a very scenic route around the river, but does finally make it back over to its home.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Stratty Time can kind of lock Chukul's there. Is there maybe something to be looked at here? Busy.
Yeah, this bot side is looking really strong for Street Fighters. I know they're losing on the top side map, but bot side is looking very good. Lute Avocado and Adam just holding it down for now. As it's making it kind of hard for Dark Frenzy and Gamer Destroyer to even walk up to even get any CS here. Mana is quite low though on Trucles, has a level advantage over Strat Time. As we see, the Maokai ultimate is going to come through, but the Poppy is going to ult away the Maokai. Now they go in for the engage, and Kawaii Adam picks up another kill on Gamer Destroyer. D1 Busy is getting busy here for sure. Dark Frenzy barely able to get out, but no, we get the double kill over to Adam. Does it make it a triple? Yes, it is. Kawaii Adam popping off yet again here, picking up 4 kills before the 13-minute mark, and going to get some plates to boot as well.
Support diff. Lute Avocado played that so fantastically well. You know, being able to use the verdicts the keeper's verdict, excuse me, to get Maokai out of here, as we are going to see the flash with Steadfast Presence to stop this Tristana jump right here. Very effective. Did a great job stopping and then held the stun here. Till he was in an advantageous position, able to get it locked down, and QuiAtom just landing absolutely everything. That Q ability comes off cooldown, takes the shutdown, gets it stunned, Cocoon lands. Very well executed, and that is one big Aphelios. You know, heavy criticism for the draft, but they have executed pretty well in that bot fight.
Yeah, fantastic use of the gravity cannon as well from QuiAtom. I mean, this is a game that's Street Fighter should not be winning, but they have a slight gold advantage so far. But they're definitely not winning this top lane, as Lynxy is going for another kill. Here comes the Fear Beyond Death, and that's a killing spree for Lynxy. Definitely holding the team down and trying to build as much advantage as possible. Probably going to get feats of strength now over here, as first turret is going to probably go down that top side. Meanwhile, a fight is breaking down on this bottom side here. Big Rev is chunked away quite a bit. Lud Avocado just running in there in the middle of things. Doesn't care at all. D1 Busy also just frontlining on this Elise. A great snare though, and Golden Eclipse is going to take out D1 Busy. Keeper's Verdict though is going to push Dark Frenzy out, and we get another double kill for QuiAtom.
Wow. Supportive. That's what I'd say. Lud Avocado doing such a great job of like verdicting the right targets, holding his abilities for the right moments, and keeping QuiAtom in a position where they can carry. And that's an item and a half. Ooh, Dark Frenzy going in here. I love the look. I love that aggression level, understanding that you're not just going to stand here and take this wave in my face as we get a replay of this previous fight.
Yeah, let's see how this started. It actually came out with Truco's actually getting called out a bit, but Big Ref a little bit too far ahead of the rest of his team. Great flank from Lud Avocado as well to slow things down. And you got strategy time too, trying to do as much damage as possible. Mel's movement is not the greatest. Gets pinned against the wall and unfortunately goes down. Great Golden Eclipse though to take out D1 Busy to get something out of this fight, but it still ends up being a 3-for-1 trade. And 2 of those kills going over to the AEC is not going to be a great time, as you do have a fully completed item on to QuiAtom at this point in time too. And building up on the second one, looks like Summit's just going to go for the Rift Herald in exchange.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're looking at a 2.5 item. The coal is complete now on QuiAtom, so as soon as they get a chance to back, we are going to see that gold spent. You got to imagine they'll have 2 full items starting in. So the real question as this game goes is like, how hard can Summit Esports push this advantage in the top side? Because they have one hell of an advantage, and they need to be able to leverage that to unlock the map for them and kind of move and transfer their lead to Tristana or to Mel and make some things happen. So we'll see how it goes here.
Yeah, Lynxy right now is kind of a raid boss in his own right, so definitely something you can't... you have to tread lightly if you're Street Fighters, but Street Fighters looking pretty good at this moment in time too. 1.5k gold lead. Big Rev is going to just steal up some of these grubs as well as, not grubs, I should say, but some of the jungle minions here. And strategy time, going to have to flash out here. Is going to throw a little snare there to try to slow things down. As you see, Dark Frenzy actually caught up too, but is going to be able to hop out of there just in time. But things are looking a little bit dicey here, as QuiAtom looking fed, looking strong, level advantage as well here too, as they're going to start pushing down on this mid turret. Feature strength did go over to the side of Summit earlier though, so they do have that slight advantage as well. D1 Busy actually taking a bunch of tower shots, 2 tower shots already. D1 Busy maybe not the best pathing here of things, and Nature's Grass is almost about to get it, but has to fly up there to avoid some of that damage as the fight's going to break out. D1 Busy going back in as well, trying to help the team however he can, but Fear Beyond Death takes down Chocos on that Corky. Lynxy has arrived. Let's see if he can put in some additional work or not. Quite doing as much damage as possible. Needs to space around here, as this is going to be a 5v3 fight at this point in time.
Yeah, just some poor execution. That mistake by D1 Busy kind of opening up that possibility. He has regained some health, clearing some camps. The Rift Herald is spawned, and we will see how they decide to execute this. The Cocoon's going to land.
All right, and we get the crash onto the Herald, but the turret is still up here. Dark Frenzy does take out the Poppy, and we get the Golden Eclipse to take out Slop. Slop is down, and now it's just a 2v5 fight, but the health bars are quite low. Big Rev has to start backing off here, heal back up a bit. They really want this turret, and let's see if they can get it or not. But the Corki has respawn in time, and this Aphelios wave clear is so fast. I don't think you get this turret. D1 Busy is going to get rooted up here, but Lynxie's getting chewed up by the 2 ADCs. Has to back off. You don't want to give that shutdown over to either of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we just goes back to like you looking at how that kind of played out, and it was just so much easier for Summit Esports to like kind of exist in this space and exist in this fight. And we're gonna get a recall, or excuse me, a replay of like D1 Busy. That was just such an awkward mistake here that kind of started this up, and you know, like we talked about that ultimate coming through. You know, the Turret Cosmic Radiance really allowing Dark Frenzy to just kind of exist in that fight. Lynxie stealing another kill away here. You know, the Keeper's Verdict, I think, was good to kind of kill the play, but it did kind of prevent them from being able to fight for anything back either. And Strategy Time just doing a good job of kind of like sitting in that back line, throwing out the poke, fishing for a route, as we see them kind of, you know, lock it up and kind of get more for themselves that they needed to get back into this game.
Yeah, look at this aggression from Dark Frenzy as well, too. I believe just jumped in on Luda Avocado and just takes him out. Actually, no, Luda Avocado is actually positioning pretty forward at this point in time, too.
Yeah.
But does get just taken out there, and Slop as well, too, just taking way too much damage at this point in time. As another fight breaks out here, Lynxie going for a 1v2. You're trying to take out Kawhi Adam. Can you get it? No, not going to be the case. And Kawhi Adam's actually the one that gets the shutdown. That's absolutely huge for them here, as you get 2 fully completed items already with more gold now. 700 gold shutdown on this Aphelios. And now this is where things get pretty scary now for Summit Esports, because even Lynxie's going to be struggling a bit. Obviously, it was a 1v2, but Lynxie is strong. Maybe not that strong.
Oh, he gets it. Oh, that's absolutely great peel. Support diff again. I mean, I think something to keep in mind here, and I really want to focus and see how Summit Esports can punish this. Kwai used everything. Like they did win. They did get the shutdown. Huge. But they don't have flash for the next 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes now. Can Summit Esports, seeing this, recognizing that the only real peel they have is the Poppy, are they going to be able to, you know, take this opportunity and punish them? As we do see, looking like they're going to commit 5 for this Dragon, and this is kind of what you're worried about is like, you know, they've done a great job of keeping this Fiora behind, but now she's about to push on that tier 2. Looks like they're just going to go ahead and give it. That's going to be an extra 675 gold going over and trade for a drag, as it looks like we're just going to let Slop kind of get right back into this game, as that's 2 turrets taken down for the side of Street Fighters.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the first Drake for Summit, so Street Fighter is very comfortable with that, right? And this Fiora, I mean, 0-4-0, so she's worth no gold, but she's still getting a lot of gold for herself and still has a lot of play now. 2 completed items with that Shojin and the Ravenous Hydra. This Fiora is definitely not someone you can sleep on. But at this moment in time, too, if she dies, she's not really giving much gold back over to Summit Esports, so kind of a nuisance to have to deal with, but at this point in time, too, without Lynxie at the fights, you're kind of in a bad spot if you're Summit. So you kind of have to force Lynxie to join a lot of these fights, which is what's going to put you in that tough position with that Fiora just split pushing the entire game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Street Fighters has done a pretty good job of like identifying your win con, right? Like I still think the Aphelios is a crazy choice, but they've done a great job executing it. And Lynxie's on the hunt again, seeing if he can get another solo kill on his top side. Flop just gonna kite themselves away, just continue to lunge forward as Cosmic Radiance being used there.
All right, we see a flank coming through here too. D1 Busy trying to run. Oh, we get the flash out from Gamer Destroyer though on that Tark. That's going to be an important flash because now you can't really flash engage as much on that Tark if you need to for a future fight here. Keeper's Verdict is going to push Lynxie out of the way, and now they go in on Big Rev. Can Big Rev hold it down long enough? No, not quite. The chase is going to be on. Solar Snare is not going to land. And they're going to be able to wave clear pretty cool. I mean, they have crazy wave clear on the side of Summit Esports, but they are now positioning for this Otacon. They do have the numbers advantage, but the health bar on Chocos is on the slightly lower side of things here too. Let's see if Summit Esports lets this go or not. I think they're just going to be content on letting it go. They just know, especially without the jungler, this is way too hard to contest.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a good call. Shugo's going to go back and catch that wave. Plenty of damage here on the side of Kwai Adam as they're looking. It looks like they'll finish that Infinity Edge in their in their inventory. You know, the cloak as well as the pickaxe. Looks like that's what they're building towards. And yeah, I mean, we're looking at Soul Point here in about 2.5 minutes. Baron spawning in 2 minutes. And we'll have to see. You know, we do see Slop on kind of a more interesting build path, going, you know, Hydra into that Spear of Shojin. So we'll have to see how that plays out, but not nearly as behind, as we are still about 3K gold up here on Street Fighters, navigating these matchups and this team comp pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, to a lot of people's surprise, I think, but
Yeah.
they're doing it well. So, and honestly, Kawhi Adam on this Aphelios has not died since that first blood invade from the first minute of the game. So, has been looking very, very strong since. Speaking of strong, Lynxie's looking very strong too. Slop able to even up the levels though with all this split pushing and solo experience. Definitely still can't 1v1 this Urgot at this point in time, but if this keeps happening for Slop, Slop's gonna get quite strong in this 1v1 potential against the Urgot as well. Meanwhile, the Solar Snare is going to land onto the Poppy, but Loot Avocado is pretty bulky. Going to get out of safety for now. Choco's going for a slight flank. Not a lot of front line, so Loot Avocado just going to have to eat a lot of this damage. Meanwhile, there's a 1v1 fight, Slop versus Lynxie. Slop is going to get to see for now. Definitely going to be good because you don't want Urgot just pushing out topside with nothing to check it so far. Meanwhile, we got Street Fighters pushing a lot of this wave into the mid lane. This is tough. There's a lot of damage coming from the side of Street Fighters.
Yeah, for sure. We do see Slop's finally riposte that disdain. Great job there. As it looks like they're rotating up D1 Busy to the top side, maybe just looking to push him out as they set up for Baron, but we'll have to see. I mean, I think if you're Summit Esports, you've got to look for an engage. You've got to get onto a carry, especially when they're split up on the map like this. But yeah, Kawhi Adam is just so big.
Yeah,
they have so much gold
scary
in their inventory.
Oh, here we get another 1v1 fight. Fear Beyond Death is going to come through. I knew it was happening already before it even happened. Lynxie picks up another solo kill. Slop getting a lot of that solo XP and farm, but just not enough yet to fight Lynxie one-on-one. Not sure if there's enough time for this game for that to happen in general, but we got Quiet Adam really feeling themselves here, just going to try to 1v1 Zergout. Obviously, there's the turret, but without Quiet Adam there, this is going to be a team fight completely in Summit Esports' favor here, as they're missing so much of their damage. Chocos goes down. Loot Avocado is already dead. We get a double kill over to Stratty time. Might even be a triple kill. And no, the shutdown going over to Dark Frenzy, which is also equally as bad. That's that's 4-for-0 trade going over to Summit Esports. And they're back in this game. Now they actually have the gold advantage on top of it. I mean, and they have 2 grubs. They have feats of strength as well. So this game is not over. Kawhi Adam is still alive, but just wasn't at the team fight, and that's where everything spelled disaster for Street Fighters. Yeah,
very interesting to rotate Kawhi Adam up to that top side while showing on a flank as Slop just continuing to struggle in this 1v1 and unable to make the plays necessary or even play safe in a way that relieves pressures. This flank is really weird to me. Like, it's like you're intentionally going for the 4v3 without your strongest member, and you get absolutely punished for it. Absolutely punished for it.
Yeah, and there's no turret as well to protect you out there. I mean, there's a tier 2 turret, but by then you're way too far away. And you can see Choco's a fantastic solar snare as well from Stratty time to figure that up. And we got the 4v1 at this point in time. D1 Busy. It's not that fed. Does have the Zanyas though now, and they're going to fight for this Scuttle Crab. As Baron is up, 2 Drakes to each team as well, but things are looking a little bit more even. Obviously, Kawhi Adam hasn't died yet since that first blood, but I think if Kawhi Adam's in the fight, things look a lot different. But because of this, you got up now taking down this tier 3 inhibitor turret as well, doing so much damage. Gamer Destroyer is going to go for the flank as we see the Maokai ultimate use as well onto this Fiora. I don't know if this is a great use of resources. This Fiora is not, doesn't really have any shutdown, doesn't have a lot of value there, just kind of a nuisance, but that's a big ultimate that's now gone for Summit Esports, as now they're going to lose a tier 2 turret in the mid lane as well. Really going to open up the map for Street Fighters.
Absolutely. We'll definitely have to see how, as we did lose Chukles. I assume in this bot side, we should get a replay here. Yeah. We did lose Chukles here, which of course gives Linksy that free push. Why are we face checking bushes, guys? What's going on? Why are you, we do it again? I don't,
Yeah, Trugo's going for the
what are
kiting,
we?
but we do get the flash out, at least from Linksy, but Linksy,
Yeah.
I don't think Linksy can lose a single 1v1 in this game. So
Not
just
right now,
one of
that's
those
for
times where
sure.
you just, yeah, definitely not right now. Without a turret on your against your back, like, you just need to get out there if you're True Ghost. But I think True Ghost has learned the lesson. I doubt we see that interaction once again. Slop is actually going to join in for the team fight now. We see most members in mid side. True Ghost is going to be split pushing, but has teleport up, can join the fight at any time too. Like this, just to clear out some of that pressure here as we see Linksy rotating over as well. Trying to bait out maybe a fight around Baron pits, but Street Fighters are going to show themselves in mid lane, so they know that Summon knows that there's no way they're going for this Baron at this point in time. Very tense match though, because at this point, Ace on either side could really just spell the end of the game for both teams. So both teams just trying to position as well as they can.
Absolutely. And of course, Quiet with favorable weapons right now, really trying to hold on to those. Lewd Avocado looking.
All right, Lewd Avocado gonna frontline for the team as much as possible. This is still only a level 12 Poppy though, so not nearly going to be as tanky as maybe a jungle or top lane Poppy at this point in time. We do see Truco's actually pushing in this tier 2 bot turret on the minimap. A lot of map pressure actually on the side of Street Fighters. But meanwhile, Linksy is going to grab a turret on the top side, going to force the TP out from Truco's, but Truco's is going to have to play safe here. That is going to be the TP expended though from Truco's, which means that this is going to be a straight 4v4 fight in this mid lane. Linksy is not there though, so a pretty solid fight I think set up for Street Fighters. They can definitely make something happen here if they're able to take a good engage, but the wave clear from Summit is pretty crazy as D1 Busy goes for the flank, is going to stun up Big Rev, but Big Rev is not worried about that at all. The stasis is going to come through from B1 Busy to avoid the Maokai ultimates. I see Lewd Avocado still just pushing agenda. A lot of skill spent there with very little damage on both sides.
And this is what I was talking about. Like, it's so hard for Street Fighters to play these fights out. Like, they don't have a way to start fights except Poppy, like,
Yeah.
kind of getting a catch. And because they're trying to force the fight while Quiet has favorable weapons, and they're going to look again here. Lewd Avocado kind of running forward.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on Lewd Avocado. I think that's why Slop is also here for these fights now, knowing that, you know, you can't really start fights with Corki very easily, but Slop with the Fiorca at least, you know, face check a bit and just, you know, initiate some of these fights better than Corki can. So I think that might be their call there too, as we see. No, actually, Slop's going to go. Yeah, no, Slop's coming back over to the mid lane here as we see Lewd Avocado trying to find something, not able to. D1 Busy though, going to be the engage yet again. Meanwhile, there's a fight here. Strategy time goes down to Trucos. That's an early kill there onto the side of Street Fighters. Big Rev is in trouble now too. Where's Linksy at? Linksy's still on the top lane. So we only got 2 members here defending this mid lane. Keeper's Verdict is going to push a Tark out of the way, which is not going to do too much there, but Linksy's going to try to grab a turret at a minimum here and put a lot of pressure, force the team to rotate. But this is going to be a Baron going over to the side of Street Fighters.
Yeah, Baron, I love the look from Dark Frenzy and Gamer Destroyer here of saying, you know what, you guys are going to go take Baron, that's fine, we're going to go take Drag. We're going to take Soul Point, you can't do both, and I love to see them starting that up. Although, Street Fighters, they're going to try. They're going to see if they can get there fast enough as we enter another 1v1 in the top side.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's so much action. You got Baron being taken, you got Drag being contested, and you got Linksy going for another solo kill and getting a ton of value. Linksy might end the game by himself if they're not fast enough. D1 Busy is back though too. They should be able to stop this, no problem. Chocos as well, so as Lewd Avocado. So they're going to be able to stop this push, but does force the backs here. However, Baron is going to be on the side of Street Fighters. Meanwhile, Soul Points, 3 Mountain Drakes as well, too, for the side of Summit. This is going to make Linksy really hard to kill.
Yeah, and Slop just unfortunately just not able to riposte correctly in any of these fights, and it just, you can see how quickly it goes, or got favored immediately once that riposte is down. And he's just cleaning up, taking an inhib. I mean, Linksy, just look at his CS per minute, too, even. Pushing that 10 CS a minute mark. Just absolutely a breakout performance by him this game.
Yeah, speaking of 10 CS per minute, looks like Quiet Adams pretty much matching that mark as well, as this Aphelios is almost fully built a shield bow as well too. I mean, just providing a little bit more tankiness for themselves because again, you don't have as much frontline in this game for this Felio, so want to be as tanky as possible. Trying to see what probably the last item probably be a Bloodthirster, if I were to guess for Quiet Atom, which would obviously add a ton more sustain for this Felios. But I feel like a lot of this action's been generally kind of quiet outside of a few picks here or there. Loot Avocado looking for something, not able to quite get it, but the wave clear on some is really strong, so it is going to be making these pushes really hard too. I think that's really their game strategy, is you get Lynxie to split push, and you just wave clear any shove potential that Street Fighters have until, you know, Lynxie just keeps getting every inhib and the game's over. So let's see if that could play out or not. Solar Snare is not going to land, but it's going to slow down Quiet Atom and chunk quite a bit. Loot Atom's already at half health.
Ooh.
Right. Lynxie going to throw up the blast cone a bit, but yeah, the poke damage is pretty strong here too. I mean, Strategy Time doing a lot of poke damage. I mean, even the Maokai just being annoying with the sapling tosses as well too, just slowly whittling down the health bars here. But Lynxie's not at the fight at this moment in time too. This could be the opening that Street Fighters needs. They're going to try to look for it. They do have the Baron buff, and the inhibitor turret is already at half health at this point in time too, but the Mel wave clear is just slowing this push down as fast as possible, and there goes that siege minion yet again. So they're gonna have to delay this push. They have about 30 seconds left here as we get engaged after our Gamer Destroyer. Nature Scraps is going to land as well, and the Fiora goes down right away. But oh, and so does the Pop. That's so much frontline now. Why Adam though is pushing out so much damage, and all that space the frontline got them is huge.
Holy
and now look
damage.
at forward as well. Moonlight Vigil gets a triple kill. About to try to end the game themselves here, as Game Destroyer is going to have to go to the fountain to heal up. So is Lynxie as well. There's not a big minion wave. Can they chunk out this turret? Oh my gosh, this turret's going down so fast. Lynxie trying to do everything they can and does get Quiet Atom. Actually, no, that's going to be Choco's. Quiet Atom still doing so much work in the back. It's trying to 1v5 here and double kill, essentially a penta for Quiet Atom. A triple to a double here. Quiet Atom going to end the game on the backs of his Felios. And wow, what a strange team composition. But Street Fighters find the win condition. What a crazy endgame there.
Yeah, I mean, we like to ask, player of the game. I mean, we can't even talk about it. It's just so glaringly, obviously, Quiet Atom here. Like, we can't even discuss it. I mean, and you saw throughout that, especially in that mid and near those last couple of fights in the end, it was so hard for Street Fighters to play this game. They didn't have good engage. They couldn't find these picks, but Quiet Atom just putting the team on their back and just really able to make plays and find damage and flash correctly and space correctly, and a wonderful breakout performance on this Aphelios. I would love to see the damage. We were talking about damage charts. I would love to see it.
I would love to see the damage.
60 plus K.
The most tragic part about this whole thing is that Riot's penta timings there mess it up for Quiet Atom, because that was a pentakill if I've ever seen one too. Only a few seconds delayed off there, a triple to a double as well. But big shout out to the rest of the team as well, especially Loot Avocado on that Poppy. Our graphic has the two mixed up here, but it was Loot Avocado on that Poppy, really just buying so much space in frontline for that Fellows. I mean, especially with the team composition without a lot of frontline. D1 busy as well too, trying to initiate as much as possible on Elise and doing honestly a fantastic job as well. And Lynxie doing everything he can to keep the game in control for Summit Esports, but unfortunately not able to do enough to a super fed Aphelios. So really well played from Street Fighters, and they take the 2-0 victory over Summit Esports.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Slop, back to the drawing board on that matchup. Your team kind of builds you out on this one as we do look at damage here. 41,000. Holy damage spread. You see Corky doing a little bit there, but that's kind of it. There's not a whole lot in there at all. Fiora doing next to nothing. Elise having a little bit of damage, but nothing crazy. And this is just wild to me, because if you look at their team comp, like, you could just pick out so many more champs that like do what you want to do in this game than Elise, than Corky, and Poppy was fine, right? But like, man, they executed. You called it out, right? Like, they executed correctly. And here's the result. Great work from Street Fighters.
Yeah, I mean, they execute really well, even despite the, huge, top canyon on the top side and slop, just not being discouraged, say, you know what, I'm just gonna keep buying space for my team and just split push and, just draw extra attention and just doing great job despite being behind early to mid to late, just being there to kind of draw attention from that Urgots away. And again, like big shout out to Lude Avocado. Look at that Poppy, right? 13 kill participation and 13 kills for Quiet Adam. So was there for pretty much every single kill that Quiet Adam had. Fantastic duo performance from them as well. So big congrats to Street Fighters. A slight upset, I think 5th seed taking out a 4th seed. But yeah, wow. We all doubt the team composition, but hey, seemed to work out.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out for them. And not a whole lot else to talk about for this game. I mean, why Adam? All-star. Put it on their back and took it down. That's the power of those late game carries, and it's nice to see that there's still some life in Aphelios as a one of those late game hyper scaling AD carries that we don't see very often nowadays.
Yep. Yeah. So big congrats to them. Definitely a team to watch out for the coming weeks of Divinity League. But that's going to wrap it up for us. Do you have any final words, Leslie? I know this is your first time on Divinity League, I believe.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And then, of course, I always got to give, don't forget about our Titan merch, friend or foe. Got that Titan merch. Mine is sitting in my washing machine right now, or I would wear it. Otherwise, got to rep the Naruto Team Liquid collab. Yeah, don't be afraid to get that merch. For me, I love the dad hats. I bought 2 of them. I bought my wife a mug. So don't be afraid to get in on that. And thanks for having us tonight.
All right. Well, again, big shout out to everyone that tuned in and supported. Big shout out to both Summit Esports and Street Fighters for the entertaining series. And of course, shout out to our observer on Tai and Shivam on broadcast as well. But that's going to do it for us. So be sure to tune in next week for Divinity League. We're here every Monday until, and playoffs as well. Don't be sure to follow Tai Esports for more action on League. But until next time, we'll catch you all later.
you.